It ain't nothing wrong with playing your position.
It's nothing wrong with it.
I mean, that coffee thing, it was Miguel's. Miguel was running the point. I was running the point here, but Miguel was running the point on the show.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is, and ain't nothing wrong with that. I ain't got to be. If he.
People's ego be something though.
Man.
People's ego will get them in positions they don't need to be in. You think you want to be in the position, and then you don't need to be in that position.
And then now we lose, and that's because everybody playing the wrong position.
Well, my grandfather said it. I'm not being derogatory, but he said it's too many people who want to be chiefs, and there's not enough just regular Indians.
That's what Fat Joe said.
And
we got that in our community bad, man.
We got it bad.
I got to be the man. And I'm gonna give some anecdotes about, No, it was number 2 because by definition of being a junior, I'm number 2. But in statute, and the number 2, isn't that better to be number 2 on the winning team than to be number 1 on the losing team?
Say it louder.
Isn't that,
Say it louder. I have no bones about it. I remember coming into this thing, you say, you're vice president of marketing. I'm like, well, that's the shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the shit. Right. This brain trust is, began with your family, and this was a vision had.
And then that title changed to partner.
Exactly. Right. Right. So that is a lesson on playing your position and playing your position well.
Right.
How many hats have I worn, and how many hats have you worn in this thing from the beginning?
Man, I told you, I ain't lying. This shit, we was. I think we might have already won an award before I figured out I was a producer. Before I even knew what I was. Before I even knew there was a title. People would ask, so what are you? And I'd be like, we're making a documentary. They're like, okay, but what are you? People who was in the industry, they'd be like, but what are you? What is the role that you play? And I was like, no, what need to be did, we do.
All right.
Ain't nobody. I don't even know what the job description is. So the job description is do the job that needs to be done.
And that's what people get messed up at. Corporate America has this hierarchy, and they have their systems, but black folks get fucked up when it comes to titles. And I'm the district manager of the.
In the street, nigga, I got to be the lieutenant.
Oh, in the street, right.
And I remember the crew. So Rick called the old man the colonel. No, Rick called him the captain because he had been in the Navy.
Okay.
Robert O, God rest his soul, he called the old man the colonel because we got to have a title, man. Everybody got to have a title.
Everybody got to have a title.
We got it.
You got to have a title. Shoot, in some cases, that's more important than the money you're making.
Man, please. And we're going to talk about that going back to the breakup, the buyout.
Oh, yep.
The buyout is the classic example of choosing a man knowing, man, I'm not at this stage. I don't need to be trying to be number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to stay with Ola. I'll be his number 2.
Yeah.
And then y'all niggas, when I'm living next to him, when I'm out in Southfield, y'all looking at just kind of shit. It's some skullduggery going on here. Because y'all didn't calculate. Being Eddie's number 2 is going to be way better than being my own.
Who was that we just talked to? Yeah. It was Sheldon Harpin. He said the number 1 man is cool to be the number 1 man, but he said always watch out for that number 2 guy. That number 2 guy is often the brains in whatever operations it is.
Yeah.
That smart guy.
Yeah. And Eddie knew who everybody was going to do anyway. He knew because Eddie was smart like that.
Yeah.
Eddie was like, Courtney going to come with me.
Mm-hmm. He knew ahead of time.
He knew ahead of time.
He had Pyrex vision.
All right, microphone check 1 2. What is this?
Let me check my levels. Testing,
camera's
testing,
good?
testing, 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 testing.
Camera's good.
Let me make sure. Let me make sure because this one always goes up. Okay, beautiful. And even more beautiful. Oh, wait a minute though. You know what? That camera or that microphone is covering your face. Can you tilt it down a bit? I mean, it's completely covering your face. You move around, but yeah, that's good enough. You might want to just a touch lean it over.
This way?
Yeah, that's like perfect. That's like perfect. Just as long as it's kind of close to you. But, yeah. Just logistic. Semantics.
All that. All right, microphone check 1 2. What is this? Shout out to the brother Joe Button.
All right, and we got what's the title again?
Play your position.
Play your position. Take 1.
What's happening, family? This is your man, CRB Jr. Fernando Brown Jr. here at Motown Mafia Podcast, a Big Boss Filmworks production, in the house with his partner in these endeavors.
What up? It's Big Lou.
Lou Stevens, how you feeling, bro?
Man, life is good. Life is great. My grandmother just turned 100 years old.
A century mark. Shout out to Annie Stevens. This is the one whose home was the incubator.
It was the catalyst of Big Boss Filmworks.
You know, and the support that your family gave, you know,
yeah,
along
man.
the way.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, when it was truly just before award-winning documentary, before Amazon Prime,
before
Tubi TV, before books on Amazon,
right?
They was like, go for it.
They were like, go for it, man. they knew I had a vision, and they knew they believed in it, and here it is, man.
10 years later, still going strong.
Yeah.
From books to documentaries
to streaming,
radio, and now still Motown Mafia, which is available on Tubi TV and Amazon Prime. The book Motown Mafia available on Amazon and will be featured on June the 11th at the Hustle and Grind Book Fair.
Yeah.
And
what time does that start?
I believe it's at noon.
Okay.
Right there at Linden and Livernois.
There you go.
Carl Weber and many other prominent people in the Detroit publishing world will be there. So shout out to the homegirl, Michelle Moore, Say You Promise Publishing.
Yes.
It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a really good time.
Beautiful.
So, Brother Lou, let's get to it.
Yeah. Playing the position.
Playing your position. So, fam, what I was listening to, you know, I always give a shout out to you because obviously as a content creator, I watch a lot of content. Some brothers out of New York got a great show called Math Hoffa.
Right,
My expert opinion. He always has great guests from the hip hop community on his show. And so I'm checking it out, and you got my man Fat Joe.
Yeah. Big up to Fat Joe.
Fat Joe, you know.
Digging in the crates.
Digging in the crates, you know. And long before, I mean, people who knew. You know, Fat Joe come out the Bronx. A lot of that crew that Eddie Jr. ran with out of the Bronx.
Yeah.
You know, Fat, I just say, very, very, even the Fat Joe tells everybody, he, you know, he ain't the studio gangster or studio rapper. He lived it. He did it. His credentials are certified. Get a lot of the same crew out there, Soundview, that Eddie Baby ran with, were closely related to Fat Joe and what he used to do back in the day. But anyway, and it's just great to see the success he's had in hip hop and how he's transitioned out of the streets, and you know, now it's just a pop star.
Right, he's a media guy. What I saw him and Remy Ma like doing Wendy Williams.
Right, and Remy, you know. Now Remy, she just played the homegirl Big 50.
Big 50.
and the Hood Story.
The Hood Story. Check that out.
Story, right?
BET Plus.
BET Plus, the Hood Story. We covered that. We
Mm-hmm.
premiered that.
Yeah.
And shout out also to a Detroit legend who was there, who we do not mention, but you got to talk about Black Patty when you talk about influencers in the city.
Come on,
of Detroit.
man.
Before there was influencers, there was Black Patty.
Yeah.
And I say that with admiration and respect to Miss Patricia.
The woman is a legend.
A true legend in this town. So shout out to Patricia, aka Black Patty. She's just famous and just a great person.
Absolutely.
Been a friend of my father's for years. Has
Yeah.
embraced me.
Yeah, my father as well.
Yeah, sorry. In fact, your father's going home. So,
Yeah.
So Patty there, just legend in this town. She was like doing work with Tyler Perry.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler was small, long before right when Medea and all that first started.
Yeah, when he was videotaping
she's
his.
just been integral in so many different levels.
Mm-hmm.
And walks of life. From politics to entertainment to theater to counseling and advising people in the streets.
A crown jewel of Detroit.
Shout out to Black Patty. So on that, and playing your position, Fat Joe was kicking it about being number 2 sometimes.
That's right.
And not always having to be the man, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about his man is DJ Khaled, right?
Right.
He was talking about how, when he with Khaled, because Khaled had Joe rich and Khaled super rich. So he like, when I'm with the guy Khaled, he the man.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay with the fact that when it come to that relation, I'm number 2, he number 1.
Right.
And he go on and he was honest. It's like, problem is most niggas don't want to be number 2. No matter what, they got to be head, what they call it,
HNIC.
HNIC, head nigga in charge. And, being a junior and, I've always been clear, I worked at the pleasure, my endeavors in the street besides stuff we did in college and de facto consigliere for Eddie Baby and many of my other friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
But I worked in the streets at the pleasure of my father.
There you go.
It was never my show. I was a highly paid errand boy consultant, secretary, networker.
That's right.
Message carrier.
Yeah, definitely.
And I ain't never had no problem with that. I mean, it was Pop's show to run. Just, it is what it is. And if I was being Eddie Jr.'s consigliere, much as my father was to his father,
mm-hmm.
Eddie running the show. Eddie ran French Road. Be clear. We started it together.
Yeah.
I end up going sideways. He kept the thing going. And when I come back on the scene, it was his show. And I never had a problem with that.
That's right.
Sometimes in people, you're not always suited, and so anyway. If you're not suited to be number 1, that's okay. Everybody can't play quarterback. Somebody got to be the running back.
Right.
Somebody got to be the receiver. Somebody got to be the lineman. Well, you need a coach. You need an assistant coach. You need coordinators. The team needs everybody, and the key of a winning team is putting people in the right position.
That's right.
But when everybody want to play quarterback, it's going to be a problem. So it sent me back listening to Fat Joe talk about playing this role, being number 2 when necessary, to the legendary story which is covered in Motown Mafia, Memoirs of a Kingpin's Kid. For those who are not familiar with this anecdote out of the story, it's 71. Eddie's already got his thing popping now.
That's right.
He started off with what we call the charter members, the original crew, plus Jap and some others. But the original nuts and bolts of the Eddie Jackson organization was my father. Shout out to Dad. Shout out to the professor, the field marshal. And there was other people around who obviously would come on later, Uncle Butch. But in the very beginning, you had my father. You had Charles Rudolph. Shout out to the great Dolph. You had Ronald 5-0 Garrett. Shout out to RIP 5-0, and shout out to the rest of the Garrett family.
Yeah.
You had Russell Clayton Sr.
Russell Clayton Sr. and
So-
then Big Willie.
And now you
Oh,
got-
Big Willie didn't come. Okay.
Well, Big Willie was there, but he wasn't. Him and Butch and all them would come. So at that point, when Eddie does the famed buyout, it's Eddie, his brother Elijah, R.I.P. Elijah had already passed. So it's Eddie, my father, 5-0, Rudolph, and Russell.
Gotcha.
Fabulous Five, right?
Fabulous Five. Okay.
So Eddie's decided that he's going to get out of the retail end of the game. He had been running the spot on Hancock, which he had just took over the town with, and he's decided, and he's got the plug now with the Gambinos, and he's out of the retail end of the business. He's just going to be a wholesaler. So being the kind of guy that he is, he has a meeting over at my house, at my dad's house, and he brings 5-0, Rudolph, Russell Clayton, my dad, and he tells the whole crew, look, I'm out of the retail game. You guys been loyal to me. Gives them each $10,000. No, in 2022 that don't sound like much money, but in 1971, $10,000 each was like giving each one of them easily $100,000.
Yeah.
$100,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
He tells them, you guys can cop from me, and I work with you, or if you guys want to go off and be your own man, I'm good with that too, but I don't got no more employees. He says, now there's only one guy, so there ain't no confusion. I'm going to give an option, and that's Courtney. If Courtney want to come and stay work with me, he can. If Courtney want to do his own thing, I'm good with that too. Gives everybody their bread, the fat man leaves. So it's the four of them. Rudolph, I'm going to do my own thing. 5-0, I'm going to do my own thing. Russell, I'm going to do my own thing. Pop says, I think I'm going to stick with Eddie. They like, nigga, are you crazy? You can be your own boss. Look at he done gave us the seed money. We already got clientele. He giving us the whole retail business to split up. And Pops is like, nah, I think I'm going to stick with Eddie. My father understood at that point he had only been in the game for a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
He winning already.
Yeah.
So when he thinking Eddie got the plug with the mob, how can it be better for me to be my own boss than to just run with him? Then of course his fate would have it, the story would play out. Eddie move out to the suburbs, living the lifestyles of rich and famous. Then he pulls his number 2 and says, man, come on, move. I'm gonna buy your house right next door to me. We both gonna live the lifestyle of the rich and famous. And since you my number 2, you know what? Take $200,000, buy you a house. Okay, take you another $200,000, furnish your house. And matter of fact, since you my number 2, we could just be damn near you like my partner. I give you a piece of the action every time we move a bag.
Come on now.
So now he the number 2. He living better than 90% of all the number 1s in America. Is it not better?
What'd that tell you?
Is it not better to be the number 2, 3, 4, or 5 man on a big time winning team than to be your own boss, to be the man on a mediocre or losing team?
I see.
What we say all the time, it is better to have 50% of a watermelon than 100% of a grape. Right?
Big time.
So yeah, that was just deep what Fat Joe was saying, and in our community, that desire to be that man and that prestige. And I tell you, family, if you winning, if your pocket's right and your lifestyle is right, why it matter if you number 1, number 2, number 3? The name of the game in this thing called life is to win and live good.
That's it.
Sometimes I'm smart. I know my way around the block, but many times it was better for me I was not the most qualified to lead. I was maybe the most qualified to advise.
There you go.
But if I'm out of position, then I can't even help my family and friends, nor can I help myself. Matter of fact, all I can do is hurt myself and hurt my family and friends.
Absolutely. And I stop and I think about our thing. When I came into this thing, and it was at its inception, and we went to New York. I mean, my mind was blown. Hell, I was afraid to get on the airplane. I never told you that. I was like, fuck, I gotta get on the airplane. But I said, you know what? I'm gonna swallow it, because this is a dream I've had for years to do this kind of thing. So let's see where this takes me. But I know what I know, and I'm going along for the ride. And then when you say you're gonna be in production, I'm like, yeah, that's what's up. No aspiration to say, yeah, I want this. You know what I'm saying? I just want to play my position. You say you are the vice president of marketing. He told me that in the back of the situation at the little office I had at the house, and I said, that's what's up. I mean, that's what I'm gonna do. But how many hats did I have? Many.
Yeah.
Many. So vice president of marketing was a very loose title, and let's not get hung up on titles.
Yeah, man, that title stuff. The only title that should be important is, are we winning?
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's it.
And vice president of marketing now is transformed to full-fledged partner.
Thank you very much. And that is a lesson to you kids out there. Play your position, and you never know where it will take you.
Never know. And I got partners with, we'll wrap this up. When we were doing that coffee venture, Miguel was running the Point. I ran the Point here in America, but it was his company.
Right.
Cafe Kazinga was already up and going in Angola and throughout Africa and Europe before I even got involved. And I ain't come in, I'm the man. No, I'm running the show for the man.
There you go.
Yeah, and I was never confused about that. I'm not the man. I'm running the show for the man.
That's it.
And if the man win on this deal, then I'm going to win.
That's right.
So, that's what it's about. So, yeah, if you guys want to hear that full thing, just go to Mav Hoffa's Expert Opinion. Fat Joe was a great interview.
Yeah.
Just something to think about, man. When you're building a team, one-man teams seldom make it. You need a group of people, and can't everybody, as you were saying, your grandfather, R.I.P.
Yeah.
All chiefs and no Indians don't make a strong tribe.
That's right.
For this tribe to be strong, you got to have many Indians and one chief.
Big time.
Then the whole tribe can eat.
That's right.
And that's what it's about. So just some food for thought for your good people here at Motown Mafia Podcast, Big Boss Filmworks. Again, June the 11th, Hustle and Grind. Book fair, Carl Weber in the house, author of The Family, also the producer of the TV show, same name, The Family, located at BET. And it's going to be always a who's who of the publishing world going to be there. So if you're in the Detroit area, June the 11th, stop by Linden and Livernois and check out the Hustle and Grind. Going to be food trucks out there, all kind of entertainment. And of course, Big Boss going to be there doing what we do.
Of course.
And shout out to our newest sponsor, Miss Boss Boutique Bags and Bundles, Detroit's premier hair and apparel shop for women. Tell the women in your life about that, brothers and sisters. If you're listening and you're in the Detroit area, check them out. They're at 16311 West 7 Mile Road. That's between Greenfield and Southfield. All you got to do is mention Big Boss Filmworks, Motown Mafia Podcast, mention CB Jr., mention Big Lou, and those good people will give you a discount and take care of you. So that is Miss Boss Boutique Bags and Bundles, 16311 West 7 Mile Road.
And get at me, because I got the skills to pay the bills. You need the graphic designs, holler at me. If you see this banner back here, you see these book covers, you see the thumbnails, that is Flyers Plus Graphics.
That's how I get done, y'all.
Authorized dealer media exchange. Thank you very much.
Because as Nino told G Money, we're bigger than that, baby.
He bigger than that. I got you. I'll make you famous.
Make you famous. And on the note of being famous and continuing our growth, and thank you for everybody. The channel just hit another milestone. So
yes, make
sure you guys are hitting that like, share, and subscribe button as we continue to do what we're doing. We got Patreon coming. Lose another premiere. See if you got a big your follow up, man. Your first one, you came out the gates winning awards. So
yeah, big time. Yeah, we got Making of the Mafia coming up. The story of this thing, of the beginning of this thing, and where this thing is going. So check it out. Join the Patreon once I put it up.
Yeah, and on that, this is something in the archives. And shout out to Cavario. I saw him doing some interesting stuff too. On Big Head Gary's show.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I don't know why that didn't get better. Anyway, guess you should go in our archives. Me and Cavario had a really good talk. These guys got a lot of good insights. So,
yeah.
On some of the real things about this. So shout out to him. I ain't talked about him in a minute.
Yeah.
I see him still doing his thing. Shout out to Al Prophet. Shout out to Scott Bernstein. We're going to get the band back together, y'all. Just work with us, straighten out some things. Motown Mafia Part 2 going to happen. City of Dope and all that. We going to do this. We going to, all that going to happen. The movie is going to get made, you guys. It's just, we got a lot on our plate. We sorting it all out, but it's going down.
Indeed.
All right, family. It's your man, CRB Jr., Big Lou, Motown Mafia Podcast, Big Boss Filmworks. The struggle.
Holla. Peace.
It was just time to really tell a great untold Detroit story because it kind of covers Detroit at its zenith.
Very interesting story.
We decided that we were going to make a movie.
All right, Rich Rossi with you with Motown Mafia. I'm with Courtney.
Louis Stevens,
Courtney Brown.
Courtney Brown Jr.
And Alan Al Prophet Bradley.
And this is an entrepreneurial, inspirational story too, because again, you know, I'm a real estate retail guy. You know, that's what my skill set is. But I'm a businessman, so I was like, you know, we're gonna do it. You know, sometimes when you got a dream, you won't have all the answers on how you're gonna do what you're gonna do.
What made this one unique was not so much the crime, but the intertwining with Detroit's history and the Motown era and kind of the economic decline of Detroit. And it's really the story of a family. And from some perspectives, it's has a happy ending, like you said. For others, it didn't have a happy ending.
Right.